Really appreciate the fans that came out to watch. Appreciate the weather holding off. Okay, I don't know what the temperature was, but it felt great out there to me. I thought it was a great day. I thought we got some good work in. It was half practice, half scrimmage. Thought we got a little bit better. But like I told the team after practice, we're not a finished product. We got a long way to go. We got to finish strong in school because we're going to need everybody out there. And then we got to have a great summer. We got to have a great summer. The guys that are here, we got to have a great summer with the leaders on the team, helping the young guys and teaching them. There's a lot of guys that didn't practice today, whether injury or newcomers, are guys that you're going to see in the fall. And we've got a big summer ahead of us to get ready to play. But the spring was good. We got better every single day. I thought we got better defensively as the spring went on. They were a little limited at corner, but were able to manage and, play to their strengths. I thought the defensive line had a pretty good spring. I thought our two linebackers, especially Josh, had a really good spring and improved a little bit in the secondary. But I just like the energy and the effort from the defense throughout spring, whether things were going good or things weren't going so well in that particular practice. They seemed to always regroup and lock in and play that play. Offensively, we got a long way to go. We don't execute at a very high level right now. We can't throw and catch. We screwed up some protections from time to time. I did think we ran the ball pretty decent today when we did run it, but I didn't. Mainly I wanted to give those three quarterbacks a chance to throw the ball and give them a chance to operate and execute with a little bit of pressure with some fans being out there. So if we were playing a game, I probably would have been leaning to the run game a little bit more because I believe that's our strength in our running game. But offensively, we've got to, get the quarterback situation figured out. We got to get the offensive line, figured out. There's a lot of guys that didn't practice today and some newcomers that are coming in that will be given an opportunity to get in that starting five. But, again, overall, good spring and a good day today.
Mike, is that your overall, your general encouragement is on the defense and how maybe it progressed under John's new system?
Yeah, I mean, when there's change, it's always difficult, okay? Guys have been in Coach English system for 2 years and understands the way he wants to practice and the calls and the assignments. And when you go from a base 3-4 to a 4-3, there's a lot of different nuances of how to play the scheme. But I love the way the guys coached all spring. Didn't make excuses for who was out there. They challenged the guys every day and, really talked about straining every play. And a great example of that was I believe it was Friday's meeting. I was in the defensive meeting, and it was a 7-on-7 rep, and the quarterback threw it. The ball was tipped, and Josh and Trey kind of turned and kind of jogged. And John pointed it out to the whole defense. That's not how we play. We burst to the ball, effort, arm violence. I said, that's the difference between winning and losing a game. And then today, we had an opportunity where the ball was tipped up, and Juicy turned and sprinted. And I believe it was Anthony Juicy, that had the interception in the red zone. And that's just a great teaching for our defense, and that this is how you got to play every snap, because you never know when that play is going to happen. And if you're not busting your ass every play, you're not going to have an opportunity to make that play. And the next day was sitting in the running backs room, and I pointed that out to the running backs. I said it's just a mindset that we have to get, that we can't take a play off. We have to play extremely hard every play, and that's what we're trying to get. And I like the way the defense is going right now.
Mike, a couple notable absences today at receiver.
Yeah, Preston Williams. Preston was suspended from the team in last fall, and then he was reinstated to practice, and then he was still suspended for what I considered a game today. Warren Jackson had a death in the family, and he had to go home to California yesterday.
Did you like the work that you were able to get into? Because when you look at the roster, it's like 86 guys, but when you count all the guys that were injured and the fact that 6 of them were kickers or punters, how limited were you this spring, and how happy with what you were maybe able to get done despite those numbers?
Well, we were real limited, but you still have to. You might have. with the twos going, you might have 4 or 5 guys out there that probably that might really realistically have a chance to play, but you still have an opportunity to develop the other guys. And some guys out there that, playing in some positions they've never, played. Landon Smith's playing nickel and corner, and, Brendan Fulton's playing every receiver position. I mean, it's just, it's an opportunity for guys to get more reps. It's an opportunity for guys to step up, too. Brendan Fulton is a guy. I know he had a drop there at the end, but he's a guy that's impressed all camp. He impresses every special teams coach. He's a dependable guy that you know where he's going to be as a quarterback. Barry Wesley is a guy that, with all these linemen down, his opportunities increased, and he took advantage of those opportunities and went from second team to running with the first team. So those guys like that, you're able to develop guys. They were young linemen that probably, might not be even be – some of them might not be in the two deep this fall. And I don't know. They could get better and have a great summer and a great spring, but this experience is invaluable, for those guys. The experience for all three of those quarterbacks were good. The experience for Anthony Hawkins and Darius Campbell to have to play multiple reps every single day, not just today, but that's how they practice every day. They're out there with the ones, with the twos, and they about play a full game or more than a full game in every practice. So they're put to the test and put in the fourth quarter every practice, and that's good for them. So, it is what it is, but I told our coaches the other day in a staff meeting, I like how we're coaching. Doesn't matter who's out there. Doesn't matter if, we think this guy's going to help us or if we don't think this guy's – we're coaching everybody hard. We have the same standard for everybody, and I think that's why you've seen some improvement. But y'all watch today. We got a long way to go, and there's a lot of missing pieces. But it's spring ball. And Coach Lubick told me the other day when we had the announcement for the partnership, he goes, "If you can't have fun in spring, then you shouldn't be in coaching." So we're having fun this spring, and we won today.
Coach, you talked about that improvement. Did you see the improvement that you wanted to with players on the field making those decisions by themselves, maybe without the coaching staff, with them as much? Did you see that growth that you expected?
Yeah, I saw the defense be able to make some checks and some adjustments in certain situations, which was good. And then offensively, we didn't execute very well. I got to look at the tape, but at quarterback, I thought we were too erratic. Didn't move well in the pocket, didn't hit late throwing the ball to certain receivers. Our accuracy wasn't great on a lot of completed balls. They're behind them or they're too, it's just, a lot of times you might complete a ball and say, hey, that's a completion, that was good. But, I mean, we got to throw every ball with perfect accuracy, and we were not very accurate today in that point, but in that area. But I thought the defense did some good things. I thought the running backs, except for the fumble, did some good things. And again, I didn't ask them to do a lot, but we had to call a couple timeouts today. That was the first time we used a play clock. One of them was because we didn't get lined up. When we signaled, we're walking from one side to the other, and we're looking at a play and changing it, and had to use a timeout. And that was a good coaching point for us. The other time, I just didn't like the look they were in and called timeout. Another teaching example that we didn't get right today, we blocked that field goal in a 1-minute situation. The offense needed a field goal to win, and we're trying to pick it, scoop, and score. We need to get on that ball because we kick it around, and the kicking team picks it up. They can run it back. We should get on the ball. So that's a teaching. There's going to be a lot of teaching moments that we'll clip, and then we'll show them this summer.
Coach, you did make the program made an announcement today. You talked about your corners, how much are going to play. VJ Banks is signed now. You talked a little bit about him and what he might bring. Yeah, we're extremely excited about VJ Banks. He will be a graduate transfer from Rice. Excellent student. He came here on his visit with his dad, who's a longtime street coach at Texas A&M. Got a chance to talk to his mother yesterday. Just a great family. He's a bigger corner. I think he was right at 6 foot, 6'1". He might be 6. I can't remember what his true measurement was, but 6 foot, 6'1", 190 pounds. Loves ball, and that's an area we need. So I really feel great about the 3 grad transfers we got. And KJ Carter-Samuels at quarterback, that's a need for us. Offensive lineman and TJ Roundtree, and then the corner, that was a huge asset for us. So, we had 3 scholarships left. A lot of probably thought, hey, we only had 25. We actually had 26 this year because we were able to count one back. So
we're done, with initials for this class. But our coaches did a great job of really scouring the country for guys, and to find 3 guys that I think can help contribute and help this football team was huge. And the latest edition of VJ Banks, we're excited about.
You said that KJ would be in the May semester.
He hadn't decided yet. He's been accepted to school. The others are just starting their application process. So he's thinking about May. I think the May runs from May 21st to like July 15th. And then the other class runs from June 4th to July 29th. And I think he's thinking about doing, the May, because the July 29th would run into camp a little bit. So he's trying to decide and, work on housing. And I think him and VJ might be thinking about rooming together. So they're trying to work that out.
Mike, I know your quarterbacks aren't exactly where you want them to be, but when you look at that group as a whole, what's the most promising development from that kind of collective unit from the spring, you think?
Well, I mean, there was improvement. I think the understanding of the offense, Justice grew in that role. JC's always had a really good understanding of the offense. JC's just got to play ball sometimes, and sometimes as a coach, you can paralyze them if you give them too much information. You got to let them go play, and that's been my message to him. You said you just got to play. You know what to do. You know the checks. Play. Where Justice is still, JC's been in the system. This is his, 4th year, 3rd spring. He's had a lot of reps. Last spring, he took every rep because Colin was out. So he's got to make more plays because he's got a better knowledge. Now, you kind of treat Justice a little bit different. He doesn't have the same knowledge base as JC. So I saw improvement in him understanding the offense. Justice shows good instincts at times and shows the ability to see the field and see the open area and throw the ball. Sometimes he's got to realize that we got to play football back there. He's like a statue. We can't be a statue. Now, he's not a dual threat, but we got to slide over. We got to move. You got to play. And sometimes when you're not live, you kind of just sit there. And you as a coach, you're like, hey, this coverage is this progression, bang, bang, bang. But you got to play off instincts. And I've seen his instincts last year during scout team, and I want to see, yes, here's the system, yes, here's how we want to operate, but you still got to be you. So I do like how he's improved with the knowledge. Judd has had a really good spring for us. The other day on Wednesday, I put him in with the first team in a red zone situation like we did today, and I think he had 3 touchdown passes. It really did good. Today was his better day. I don't know if nerves got him. He was a little bit off. But he's a guy that has a good arm. He's got to improve with his footwork and his foot speed, but he's a baby too. Both of those guys are babies, and this experience that they had this spring is going to be invaluable when fall camp starts. They'll be different players, okay? So good and bad experiences will help them if they're mentally tough enough to handle it, because there's going to be criticism, there's going to be scrutiny, there's going to be you guys, all right, and fans and everybody talking about KJ Carter's going to be the quarterback. Is Colin coming? They're the guys. But those guys got to be mentally tough enough to know that, hey, I'm going to improve and I'm going to compete. They have that ability, and it's going to be up to them.
Speaking of those guys, still the 2 quote-unquote babies and even J.C. Robles, did you see enough out of them in practice that you hope that they will be able to push KJ Carter-Samuels when he comes in, and from a leadership standpoint as well?
No, we're not there as a leadership standpoint at all at that position, and that's okay. That's something that you've got to learn. Early on in Nick's career, we were not there at where we needed to be as leadership, and he ultimately figured it out and realized that it couldn't be just about him. It had to be leading the football team too. Sometimes you get in your own world, but as a quarterback, you got to lead those guys, especially those other 10 guys that are on the field with you. But they'll have their exit interviews next week with Coach Letson, and then I'll sit down with all 3 of those guys, and we'll talk about where they're at and where we're going forward, and that they got basically what I just said. It's up to you. It's up to you. Now, am I going to coach you any different, or am I going to push you to the side and coach these guys? No, we're going to coach all of you guys, and it's up to you how you take your experiences, good and bad, from this spring and move forward.
You talked about your offensive line, and Izzy obviously had the one really good series of running the ball. when you look at your offensive line, are they just more advanced maybe with the run game part of it than the pass game, and is that kind of natural?
Yeah, it's natural. We're back. You know, we ran a couple draws and mostly zones, schemes, and it's a little bit easier. You know, yeah, you're zoning right or zoning left, and your track might be a little different whether a tight or a mid zone, and it's a little bit easier to fit up and stay connected with the guy. You know, pass protection. You know, they brought a couple new blitzes today, edge pressure. And we weren't ready for it. We weren't ready for it to quarterback. We had a couple runs where they brought the weak side safety, and we're not accounted for them. We should be throwing the ball to the X. We should just abort the fake and throw the ball. And I mean, those were 2 lost yards plays. It looks like it's on the offensive line. You know, so some of those runs were the quarterback. I think maybe 3 of them where we had lost yardage runs because the quarterback didn't do what he was supposed to do. Protection. You know, sometimes, you know, protection is, you know, we turn a free guy loose, then that's a protection issue. But, you know, when you've got color on color and you're fighting your butt over, we got to slide in the pocket and we got to feel it. We got to get rid of the ball. You know, so that's part of it. I have the utmost confidence in that we'll get a line of scrimmage ready to go. We'll be able to run the ball. We'll be able to protect. You know, we'll do things that they could do. Always, you know, knock on wood, we've always been pretty good at keeping the sack total down, you know, by the way we call things and get the ball out, and don't put your guys in positions and stuff that they can't do. Now, you know, today, spring practice, you're calling things, you game plan a little bit, but you're calling plays and trying to get guys touches, so you're not really trying to play to the strength, and we're rolling, you know, all 8 linemen in between series, so I don't know who's in there half the time and whose strengths are, so it's hard to protect them. Is that it? All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Yep.
When we get to bring players in,